So, this is the Real Linda Show, and today we're going to talk to you about feeding the birds, about nature, and maybe a few other topics. What if you put a few crusts of bread out for the birds, but what if you did it on private property, not on public property? Because sometimes in New York City, it's not legal to feed the birds on public property. But what if you did it somewhere where it was allowed, maybe at a bird sanctuary or something? There's a bird sanctuary out in Long Island where birds will come and eat right out of your hand. They suggest that you do not put bird seed on the ground and that you do not feed the birds just by leaving clumps of foods, because that will feed other wildlife that they don't want. You know, you could bring in rats or mice. But if you hold out a few seeds in your hand, you can feed the birds and they'll be happy and you'll be happy and the wildlife maintaining people will be happy. What if you wanted to feed a bird on your own property? What would you use? They say that you should not feed rice because that bloats the birds. Now that's raw rice. I'm not sure if that's the same for cooked rice. What about if you put a few grains of cooked rice out? You know, like when you cook rice, there's always a few grains left in the pot. Maybe a handful, maybe a few teaspoons full of rice left in the pot. If you put a little water in that and swish it around and throw it out for the birds, I've heard that they really enjoy that and like that. So, I don't know. We'll have to have some bird experts call into the show or email the show and let us know what you know about birds. And let us know what you know about taking care of birds. Whether they're your own birds, do you raise parakeets? Or do you have a few parrots? Or do you have some birds in your backyard? What do you think about birds? You know, we can go from one degree to another. Sometimes people love birds, sometimes people hate birds. Sometimes, even in the country, I've heard, sometimes people have a pool and they will let the ducks swim in the pool. Well, everybody feels differently about this. For me, I think if I had a pool that I was going to swim in, I would not want the ducks swimming in the pool, or I would not want any other kind of wildlife swimming in the pool. But that's just me. You know, you get concerned about bird flu and all. Let's see if we can find some birds around here. There you go. So our bird experts, what kind of birds are these? Well, I can't tell you what kind of birds they are. They're either chickadees or wrens or something like that. Kind of reminds me of a really cool song. I forget the name of it, but there's a song about a sparrow. And there's something about his eyes are on the sparrow. And I know he watches me. Some kind of an old hymn. Now, what about flowers in your garden? We came across these, and these are kind of excellent. They're sort of green with sort of like a white tint, sort of like little fuzzy flowers. They're called Dusty Miller, maybe because they look like they have dust on them. There you go, there's some more birds. Oh, we missed that one. So do you like birds or flowers or gardening? Or all of them, the above? Do you do gardening? Are you a member of the 4-H club? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a few members of the 4-H club to come in and do a show all about everything you know. Well, maybe we'd have to do more than one show. Okay, so back to the Dusty Miller. This is a Dusty Miller. It's a plant that looks like it has bright white dust on it, but it doesn't. Maybe that's why they call it Dusty Miller, and I don't know who Miller is. But I'll tell you what, if you plant this in your yard, you will love it because it takes absolutely no care. You get these plants pretty reasonably, and they take no care. And then when winter comes, guess what? You don't have to take it inside. You just leave it outside all winter. And they stay that way. Yeah, I've seen them stay this color all winter. So while other grass and things die in the garden, the Dusty Miller will stay just like it looks like that. So that's Dusty Miller. You put it outside, you leave it out all winter, it does just fine. They actually even survive the blizzards. Yes, they survive the blizzards. And you just plant it gently. Oh, there's some more little birds. So, we're giving a call out to the 4-H members. We'd like to come. We'd like you to come to the studio or even do a call-in show and tell us some of your animal advice, your advice about flowers and plants and gardening. And we'd especially like to hear about how you plant your vegetables and what you would do if you had a little farm. I don't mean a manufacturing farm, I mean a little tiny area where you planted some crops. So, that's Dusty Miller. That's where we have expertise in, Dusty Miller. So, if you're a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout or an American Heritage girl and you're into gardening and into planting things or maybe into wildlife, call us up and say you'd like to discuss these things on television. Or maybe you're just not in any official group, but you have some kind of expertise about these things. Send us an email and join our show. The name of this show is called The Real Linda Show. The Real Linda Show. It's TheRealLinda at JesusAnswers.com. Yep, that's the email. The Real Linda Show at JesusAnswers.com. That's how you can reach us. We look forward to having you on the show. And we look forward to sharing your expertise about gardening, about Dusty Millers, about farming or vegetables, about wildlife, about your upcoming festivals. What about the country fairs? So write to The Real Linda at JesusAnswers.com. So thank you for watching this version of The Real Linda Show.